we've both got fairly similar bottom 10s. I think there's one team that we've switched around. I think I've got Brighton in 10th.
Yeah.
Where have you got Brighton?
9th.
9th.
And
9th. I've got Brighton 10th, and the team that I think I've got in the top 10 that you don't is Crystal Palace. That's my 9th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hear that.
Yeah.
I definitely want to hear that. God, I missed that completely.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah. I've got them
Okay.
above. I've got them above Brighton because I think Brighton will. Depending on if Caicedo leaves, if Caicedo stays, that's a bit of a boost. But I think their squads, they seem to put wonder kids out their ass. But if they can keep doing that, then fair play. If not, then I think they'll struggle with the extra games in Europa League.
Yeah.
You know, it's not Conference League, it's Europa League.
It's big.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a big level.
It's big for them.
Massive.
Yeah, particular, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Brighton will struggle a little bit. But I think Crystal Palace, I think big, what's his name? Manager. Why am I blanking?
Roy Hodgson.
Roy Hodgson,
Yeah.
4 years old or something like that.
You know what? Yeah, they
When
did
he
very
came,
well.
When he came in, they actually came good. And
Yeah, Vieira sort of put him in this shit.
All right.
Yeah.
they lost Wilf Zaha, but they got 2 players in particular that I reckon will cook this season
Yeah?
proper. Eberici Eze and Michael Elise.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I think they're about to become some top players. They're on their way. They're on their way up.
He's a very good player.
Eze especially.
He's electric, bro. He was electric against us last season.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
I think he'll be their player of the season potentially.
And they've got Mitchell there too in that back line. Like
Tyrick Mitchell,
Anderson's
Mark
a very good centre-back too.
Gurhey as well.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
unreal.
Yeah, okay.
I think they'll be solid. I think they're about to.
Damn.
Yeah, but
Jordan
I mean,
Hodgson loves his older, more, you know, he needs that sort of experience in there. So I think that explains his spot.
Yeah.
In the
Yes.
team. Yeah.
I mean, and Elise as well. I mean, there's interest from Chelsea for him. I think we put in a 40 mil bid for him. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard anything since then. I think he's actually injured at the moment.
Yeah.
But,
It looks like he's 25% likely to be in that. Feature in that team, so he wouldn't be playing. I don't think.
But he'll come back. He's still in like 20 years old or something like that. So he'll turn it up. I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon that's gonna be.
Bro, that's a good call. That's a very good call because you typically look at Palace and you're like you thought of Wills straight away.
Yeah, true.
Straight away, mate. And
I
now
think they were reliant for too long. Now it's
a lot more balanced, mate. And I think they've got a bit more stability down back as well. They've got a bit the runners. They're a little quicker, and I think their midfield far out.
Yeah, I think there's a few positions they could potentially improve on, like maybe Andrew Ayew could probably get upgraded. And I think
Jordan. Well, they both there. Are they both there? I don't know.
I forgot which one.
That's all right.
And also right back. I think Nathaniel Klein is playing there at right back.
They've got potentially
Tompkins?
Joel Ward.
Joel Ward. He was already there. Yeah. Well,
Um,
I think that's a place they could probably improve on. They didn't really sign a replacement for Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah. Well,
since then.
so look, let's see what happens with Palace in that sense. Then, like, they're obviously trying a few new things. With their big exit of Zaha and formation as well. They, I believe that there was more. They were playing with 2 up front last season with Ayew and Zaha. And then they had people behind. I'm pretty sure.
Like the Edouard and Mateta.
Mm.
They were the main strikers.
Yeah.
But now I reckon Edouard and Mateta were both solid as well. Actually, I don't know. I've got this feeling that they're gonna cook this season.
Let's see. That's a good shout. I reckon that's probably a very, very decent shout. That.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll come back to that. I'm sure we'll be referencing that call, I reckon, man.
Yeah.
I think
We'll definitely revisit this. We'll maybe revisit it halfway through the season and see how that's going, and then again at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we get to adjust our our table's a little bit halfway through. Hopefully not too much.
I don't know if we'll.
Are
we allowed to?
I'm not, bro. Nah.
No. What do you mean? It's gonna be perfect.
Exactly right. There's not gonna be no changes at all whatsoever, apart from Palace in mine. I reckon now. Far out, man. Now I think I sort of looked them over a bit too much. I think I've underestimated.
Where did you put them?
I had Palace. I have in 13th. Like it's not like I had them close to relegation. Palace being in 13th for me is because of the other teams that I think are going to go down. I think Palace is just a better side. Like you said, Roy Hodgson, I think, is a great manager. Though, let's see if they've got the depth. Let's see if once, those aforementioned names like Etse and Decore, not Decore, what am I saying, man?
To be fair, there was talk of Decore moving to like Chelsea or Liverpool.
Decore, sorry, yeah. So Decore, sorry, I was right. And let's see, that midfield's very strong. Though, I think their wingers may. I don't know. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
See what happens with Palace. We'll see. But like I said, Anderson's a great defender. They've got a bit of stability back there. So I think like they're a lot more sound than your Everton, who I've got underneath your Everton's, Forest, Burnley, Sheffield,
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, alrighty. Who makes up the last non-European slot for you? I feel like it should be the same as mine.
Villa.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, Villa.
Yeah.
Now, I think we've spoken a bit about Villa already. But why do you have them there?
I think it's a very strong squad actually. And you look who they added: Pau Torres, Diaby from, I think it's Leverkusen. I think he came from.
Mm-hmm.
And Tielemans as well.
Funny thing about Diaby, what's his name that is now? Oh man, this is killing me now. Hey, just give me please 1 second, because this is a thought that only just came up just then. Now, with the team they had last season, the boy who was playing up front. I hate myself for not knowing this right now, because like I said, it just came up. It wasn't Ramsey, it wasn't Bendoya, it wasn't Watkins. Oh my god, I feel so silly right now.
I think I know who you're talking about as well,
It
was another like French.
Where is he? Hang on. Is it Bailey? Yeah,
Bailey.
Leon Bailey at Leverkusen. I believe they came.
Did he come from Leverkusen? Bailey.
Where did
he come from?
Hang on.
That's a good question,
I'm pretty sure it's Leverkusen. Oh, please, good. Yeah, Leverkusen. So
yeah, he did.
Both of them. Diaby came from Leverkusen too, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just gonna double check. But I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did.
So Bailey ended up leaving because he couldn't get game time because of this bloke, and those blokes just followed him to Villa, and now he's on the bench again. Like,
really?
How heartbreaking would that be? It's like
that's a long day. I
want to go to a team. I found a team that could potentially, fight for European places like Leverkusen in Germany, and now he's followed him. And I think maybe that Emery overheard Bailey talking shit about him, and it was like, you know what, maybe I need that guy with his Bailey dude. Because Bailey, like I was saying, I was trying to find like a game which he was playing, and it seems like he was on the bench a lot because of your Ramses. He was just playing very well last season.
Yeah.
And Watkins and Buendia, by the way, for Villa, is such an amazing creative player. I think he's so underrated. I think he has a lot more to show. I think at his Norwich days in the Championship, absolute killer there. So keep an eye out for him as well.
I mean, I just think they're gonna. Well, to be, sorry about. To be fair, that we're talking all this praise, but we have dropped them since last season.
Yeah, sure, but
that's due to the addition of European football, Conference League. You look at what that did to West Ham. That dropped West Ham almost into a relegation battle.
Big time.
So we don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll handle it better, because when I look at their team, you got Martinez in goal, Luca Digne, Tyrone Mings is a bit dodgy, but
very dodgy if I'm honest.
They've got the Diego Carlos, Pau Torres now coming in. That's some solid centre backs. Matty Cash at right back.
Cash is a good player too, man.
Felipe Coutinho is still there. I feel like there's rumours of him.
Kick back this, that, yeah.
Him moving to
he was a Gerrard signing.
I feel like there's rumors of him
a
going Saudi.
nostalgic thing. Probably Saudi. Yeah,
he seems like a
probably.
prime Saudi recruitment. But
they'll probably throw about 500 million at him, maybe.
Yeah, John McGinn, newly Yuri Tielemans, Buendia, like you said, Douglas Luiz, Jacob Ramsey.
Bro, Tielemans is a
team,
big
man.
acquisition for them too, mate. I think last season, he didn't do too well, but he had his 1 foot out the door, man. So
I've just got to say, Ollie Watkins is honestly, I would take him at Chelsea.
He's so good.
Honestly, he's so good.
He's so good. Like
I don't know how. I really thought Arsenal was going to sign him before they got Jesus. I was like, that's an Arsenal signing right there.
He could have been. He might have. I don't want to say he might have been better suited than Jesus, because Jesus obviously is very much a pretty good, like, centre forward in a way. I know he's more considered more as a striker, but he can link up very well with his teammates. Yeah. But Ollie Watkins, bro, like he finishes his opportunities a lot. He's very potent. But
I always
it's like that passing ability. I'm not 100% sure on, but I feel like it would have felt right if you went to Arsenal. That's all I'm saying.
Other than Ivan Toney, I thought Ollie Watkins was primed for a top 6 move or something, like primed and ready.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Who knows where if Villa do finish 8th, he could look to move on.
Yeah, it's
because
possible.
he would want to play in Europe for sure. And like we're talking about, there's England places up for grabs. You've got Wilson, who was considered like this backup striker for England, but at the end of the day, anyone could take his spot, and I think Watkins would be eyeing for that, because obviously no one's really going to be replacing Kane in that team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Watkins would be looking to really prove something this season with Villa.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Alrighty, I think it's time to move into European places. So
exciting stuff. Look, that first bit was a bit. Yeah, that was tough. That was tough to sort of reason and justify with, because you just never know with that bottom half. But I think this is going to sound a bit I'll be more assured with my selections here now.
I'm not. I've written it down by instinct and gut feelings, not with looking at using my brain, but it doesn't. I don't know. I'm just gonna stick. I'm sticking with it.
Works out that way though.
I'm sticking with it. All right.
Yeah.
Now, clearly we've got the same 7 teams up here. Yes. Should we just? I don't know if we should say one team at a time or say all of it, because I feel like it might just be better to just rip the Band-Aid off and just say it all.
Yeah, let's do that.
Screw it.
Let's do that.
All right. No, I'm gonna not explain anything. I'm just gonna say the names, and then you say the names, and then we'll discuss.
Yeah, then we'll go.
All right.
All right, do it.
7th, Newcastle. 6th, Spurs. 5th, Liverpool. 4th, United. 3rd, Chelsea. 2nd, Man City.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
First
no
Arsenal.
Way.
First Arsenal.
No way! Oh, that's big. That's big, bro. That's big. Like, no, seriously, like, wow. Okay, sorry.
Go,
sorry.
say yours.
I was supposed to say anything. I was supposed to fucking say anything until afterwards. All right, 7th, Tottenham. 6th, Newcastle. 5th, Chelsea. Chelsea.
I see it. No, yeah. Okay.
5th.
Yeah.
4th, Liverpool. 3rd, Manchester United. 2nd, Arsenal. 1st, Manchester City.
Alrighty.
Take the floor. You said yours first. I wish we could just skip to the top, but let's go. Let's start off with 7.
Okay, 7th, Newcastle.
Yeah.
And you've got... So we've got the same 6th and 7th just switched around.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
For me, it's simply the Newcastle have to deal with extra Champions League football. And I feel like whilst they've made some decent signings, like Harvey Barnes, solid signing. Harvey Barnes. But I just feel like, they're going to be playing in They need to make more signings, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing Champions League football with Dan Burn at left back. Come on, bro. Like, I know he was very. Like, to be fair, he was very good last season, but you can't be doing that, brother. You can't be.
You can't do him like that, brother.
Nah.
That was fucking harsh. Man.
Look,
Poor bastard, man. He's not gonna listen.
all I'm saying is he did very well, to be fair, but he can't be playing all those games. Like, is Trippier gonna keep it up? Is Bruno G? He's amazing if he plays every game. GG. But
player, yeah.
I just think having the extra games, if they don't make more signings, more depth, then they just drop just a little bit.
Okay.
7th.
All right. Well,
and then Spurs simply they don't have any European football to deal with, and I'm basing my prediction also off him staying because I think he'll stay.
Okay. Well,
him being Harry Kane.
Yeah. He's literally him.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll touch on Newcastle first. I feel like with Newcastle, I think they're defensively they're very good, man. They're very good, and like you said, there's questions of Trippier if he can, is he past his peak now? He's like 32, 33 at the moment, or 33, I believe. I think so, and I think he'd still be all right. I think Newcastle adapt well to their oppositions week by week as well. I had a little period last season where they dropped off a little bit, but then they just went straight back up and did the business, beat us towards the end of the season as well. Like when the stakes are high, they can still perform very well. Wilson, if he stays fit, hopefully he does. Isaac's sublime. I think for his height, dude, that guy, he can move. He can move in terms of he's very good with the ball.
But I think their depth up front is very good. For me, it's more midfield and defense where I'm a bit skeptical about the depth.
Look, I want to have another suss of Newcastle. I think with Sandro Tonali now at Newcastle, Bruno Guimaraes, and then Joel Linton, man, I still can't believe he plays midfield. His son is a fucking striker. He has the number 7. Change your number, bro. But I think Sven Botman and Fabian Schär, I think that they'll follow up a great season. And Pope is an unbelievable shot stopper too.
I just think they could upgrade. They could upgrade on Fabian Schär and Dan Burn.
Okay.
And maybe Trippier, and then maybe midfield. We'll get into midfield when we get into the other categories because I've got something to say about them later on.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Well, I think Miguel Almiron, if he can score like he did last season, I know he went back to his old ways, but still contributed. Like sort of has the similar impact as what Grealish has with City. I think when he's on, no, hang on a second, just give me a second. Doesn't show it on the stats, but in terms of where he's on the field, what he does in the build-up to play, I think he plays a pivotal role in that squad.
Okay.
But that is when he's in the team. Obviously, you're going to go with other players that are more potent going up forward as a winger, of course. But when he was the best person in that position, I still feel like, he got taking the piss out of a lot for not scoring. But, all right, get it. Grealish, I'm not saying I'm on the same level as Grealish, yeah? You understand that, right?
That's what I thought you were saying.
How the fuck can you think that? How delusional do you think I am? Yeah, I get it. I'm a United supporter, but I'm not that bad.
No. It's fair enough. You're talking about like the play style and
obviously it's all relative.
Newcastle
haven't won the league in fucking since I don't even know how long now. 70s.
No. I get you.
All I'm saying is I think Almiron still has a lot to offer. It's just that just goes to show their depth, and I think the struggle between Premier League and playing Europe for Champions League football, which is unbelievable from where they were 2 seasons ago to now. Their turnaround has been crazy. I think Tonali is an unbelievable player. I think it's probably exactly what they needed to get Longstaff out of that bloody squad. And Anthony Gordon. Let's see about him.
Well, he was player of the tournament at the under-21s Euros, to be fair. So we'll see if he can keep that up.
Yeah, okay. Well, James Trafford didn't cop a whole fucking goal the whole season, the whole tournament. You see him starting anyway? He's going to be great for Burnley, don't get me wrong, but you've got Muric or something starting at the moment. All I'm saying is he's not a short starter, and I don't think Gordon should be a short starter just because he did well in the under-21.
No, starter, if everyone's fit, I'd start Isaac... Barnes,
Bro, Barnes. Yeah,
Barnes.
100%, bro. Barnes is unreal.
And probably Miggy. They don't really have a right winger other than Miggy. Jacob Murphy.
Murphy's good. Murphy played
more of a
very well
bench
towards the
player.
end of the season.
Would you start him though?
I don't know. I think I think that right side for them is a little weird, isn't it? It's like they don't have like the most potent players there, but they contribute, and I feel like Gordon. Not Gordon. My God, I've just blanked.
Who?
The other right
Wilson. Oh, Miggy.
Not Miggy.
And Jacob Murphy.
Murphy. I was going to say Gordon. Anyway, Murphy. Yeah, I think they could get a right winger. They could get another right winger.
Gordon can play all across the front line, can't he? Or is it just left wing and centre forward?
I'm not 100% sure, bro.
I know him. Isaac can play centre forward and left wing, and then they've got Callum Wilson, striker, and Joel Linton can move up to left wing as well.
Yeah. All right, well,
we'll see.
Newcastle's they're going to be interesting. I think it depends on obviously their legs and
honestly,
how long.
If Kane leaves, then I swap those two positions anyway. It's simple as that. Because if Kane stays, scores his, last season, what did he do? Like 30 goals. Which
wasn't far behind.
Which is insane,
behind,
but no one talked about it because Haaland got his 36 or whatever.
An animal, bro. This is an animal. All right. Well, anyway, I want to talk about
next. I feel like we've got to talk about the next three together.
I don't think I'm speaking about Tottenham at all.
Okay, yeah.
So with Tottenham, I feel like they're like you said, big thing for them would be Kane leaving. If they do, but if he stays, I think that team, that Tottenham team can definitely. Bro, I've got him in 7th, but I've assumed Kane's gonna go. So I feel like if he stays, I could put him up another couple of places because I'm telling you, man, this is Ange Ball. I'm not trying to blow smoke up his ass, but I think it's gonna suit that team very well. I just think it will, and they keep making signings and they're spending money, which is awesome for them. But in saying that, it's points only in one direction. It's Kane leaving.
Yeah. I mean, if Kane stays, Maddison's going to be feeding him balls. I think Maddison will have a good season as well. Regardless, whether he's feeding the balls to Kane or Richarlison, he'll have a good season. It's just a difference of Kane putting the goals in and Richarlison probably skying it. I don't know.
I don't feel like Richarlison. I seriously, after last season, I do not see Richarlison at all playing. Like, I'm sorry, man. You can't have that sort of return. What, two goals?
I'm pretty sure he put the ball in the back of the net 4 times. 3 of them were offside, and he took his shirt off celebrating 4 times.
And then one of them, he thought he scored the winner against Liverpool as well. Yeah,
was it?
Was it him? And then Salah or whoever came down. No, Jota. Came back the other end and scored, and then they were like, it was Richarlison. Richarlison came to Tottenham as a player that potentially could step in the shoes of your Sons or your Kanes, depending on where you wanted to play him. Obviously, he's more of a striker, though he was obviously not going to create competition for Kane. Like, obviously, that's ridiculous to think. But he was supposed to add depth to that front line and just hasn't at all converted his chances that he's had. Son, even though he played poorly last season compared to his other ones, played better than Richarlison. Though, again, questionable their front line last season. Though, Kulusevski was all right for glimpses. But Kane, like you said, just pulled him out of the shitter. Like, Richarlison should have been the one to sort of, keep that off Kane a bit. It may have changed the way Kane thinks about staying as well. Like, I feel like obviously with Ange coming in now, he's like, all right, it's a bit of a reset. But 100% doubts would have been seeping into him. It's like, am I ever going to win anything? Like, I'm scoring 30 plus goals a season and we're doing nothing with it.
It's true.
So I feel like Richarlison just isn't good enough in my opinion. And let's see if he's going to want to, play. He's going to have to play out wide under Ange for sure. And he's going to have to compete with the likes of Solomon and Son and Kulusevski, who's been signed on a permanent transfer as well. So let's see what happens there. Like, again, it's just Richarlison can cover the front third, and yeah, he's gonna find it hard to break into that Ange team, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think So like I said, my prediction is based on Kane staying. I think he should go. I think he should have left for the last 5 seasons, but it seems like fucking Stockholm syndrome at this point. He just doesn't want to leave.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think Bayern seems to be the only feasible option now because everywhere else is pretty set, and United we just signed Højlund, so
you really should have gone for Kane.
Look, hang on.
I guess if it was feasible, they would have.
Højlund, I think Højlund, he's still very young. Like, we can definitely still sign a striker like Kane still. But in saying all of this, I think the hype in the build up to getting Højlund sort of taking the attention away from Kane and his connection with us. So anyway, we'll talk about that after. But yeah, I think big time does depend on whether Kane stays. Let's see if their new signings can assimilate into the way Ange plays, and see if James Maddison's going to be instrumental for them too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's going to be huge for them. I think he's going to have an amazing standout season. You thought what you saw at Leicester was good. He's going to be higher up the pitch. Yeah. And he's going to be right in it.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, we'll get to him when we get to team of the season predictions, because he was in my short list. He didn't make my team. To be fair, if Kane stayed, he actually might have made my team. But I predicted. If I predict Kane to stay, then maybe I should. We'll get to that when we get to that.
It's all circumstantial.
It's tough at this stage. You got to predict things based on what happens if.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, if Kane was to leave, like I said, I'd probably drop Spurs to 7th, leave Newcastle in 6th.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we move on to 3rd, 4th, and 5th discussion, because we've got them different. Us 3, us 2.
What are we doing?
3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah.
So we've already said them.
Yeah.
I've got Liverpool 5th. You've got Liverpool 4th.
4th.
So I've got Liverpool 5th, United 4th, Chelsea 3rd, and you've got Chelsea 5th, Liverpool 4th, United 3rd. All right. Well, first off, Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think bottom of the 3, simply because they haven't. Their problem last season was midfield. Now they've lost Henderson and Fabinho. Yes, they've got McAllister. Yes, they've got that guy. Yep, that one. I think
I love it. You didn't even try to be like, "Daniel, can you help me out here?" You just fucking went for it. I'm probably saying it wrong if I'm honest. Anyway,
well,
whatever.
You know who did say it wrong? Liverpool kit designer. On the back of his top, the guy spelled his name wrong. He was playing in pre-season with his name spelt wrong on his back.
The whole time?
Yeah.
Bruh.
Liverpool, I think was it Liverpool posted on their Instagram a photo of him like mid-game with the name on the back, and it was at Leipzig. Oh, like maybe it was a tweet. Responded to it, replied to it, commented something like, "Oh, spelling his name right isn't for everyone."
Oh my God. They're just still salty about him leaving, obviously.
But anyway, I don't know if that's enough in the midfield. I know Klopp likes his skeleton squad, but like I know Diaz is coming back. I think it's all going to depend if they stay fit or not. And also maybe they need another midfielder, I reckon.
There is somebody who's going to be sneaking into that midfield, why I believe that they're going to be top 4, and he should have been there couple of seasons ago, 2 seasons ago, is the big old TAA, bro, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
That's a good point.
He is, I'm telling you, you've got him and Curtis Jones next to each other. They seem to feel like we'll be starting together And I feel like I'm looking at this team. They look very. I don't know. They look. Whoops, sorry about that. They look. They look very, very like strong. But like you said, they've got a skeleton. Like they like the Klopp likes playing players exclusively, and it's very hard to break into this team. And this is the team. Like Zoboszlai can score and assist as well, and he's ahead of Jones. You got Jota in there. You got Gakpo, Salah, McAllister. McAllister's. I thought when he was recruited, he'd be playing in a 4-3-3. He'd be one of those the midfielder that would be creating more. He'd be more of the 8. Though I didn't see any defensive ability at all from him in regards to at Brighton. Like I say, not any compared to how Liverpool usually run things. But he's lucky he's got Alexander or Trent behind him to protect him. And I think, I think having McAllister and in that part of the field, I think he's gonna be. He could do bits. They could do bits. Could. It just depended on whether or not Trent is going to like fully adjust into that role and just take it with how do I put it? He's just gonna really just fly as he gets started. So
it's interesting how Klopp's gonna adapt his tactics. He sort of had his formation, his tactics, and he's sort of just signed players to fit how he wants to play, and he hasn't changed it. Now it looks like playing the Trent in midfield, sort of like the back four, but then he moves into midfield, sort of similar to how Stones, Zinchenko, Arteta and Pep play. So Klopp's sort of adapting his tactics now, and it's going to be interesting to see if how he can manage that.
Mate, I couldn't have said it that better myself, mate. Honestly, that's bang on. I think. Yeah,
I still do think they need a defensive midfield player though, because Trent and Jones. Is there enough there?
We were criticising Trent about his defensive ability last season.
Yeah.
So, but I think he can do just enough in that role.
Yeah, his defensive ability was more about his one-on-one defending on the wing at fullback. So maybe in midfield it could be different.
Because he'll be cutting passing lanes too.
Yeah.
He's not just going to be manning up on a player. He's going to have a bit of freedom.
Yeah.
What?
It's going to be interesting how they play. We'll see, and we'll see against Chelsea. Big test straight away.
I've got a little feeling inside of me, and it's not a good one because I'm a United supporter, but I feel like Virgil, like he's taken up the captaincy now.
Trent took the vice captaincy as well.
Yeah. So those boys, I think, obviously Arnold, he's definitely got to feel a lot more at ease in terms of his spot in that squad now. But Van Dijk, I think he's going to hit another level of professionalism now. You saw last season Milner losing it at him for making mistakes, and Van Dijk very much respected him and understood his role in that team and didn't bite back because he knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew exactly what he needed to do in order to get back on track for himself. So I feel like a player that can sit back and reflect on himself and also take constructive criticism from his teammates, especially those with as much experience as Milner. As a captain, I think all those are all prerequisites, those qualities to being a great captain. So I feel like Van Dijk could have a sensational season as long as he stays fit. Though, let's see what happens. And I'm telling you, remember last time Van Dijk peaked? What happened with Liverpool? They felt unstoppable. You know what I mean? And they've got Konate in there now, who was pretty decent, I must admit. Robbo's still in that team, Gakpo came to his own towards, the end of the season last season. And Salah, let's see. Like honestly, this Liverpool team, I have a lot of confidence in when it comes to them not pushing for the title. They're not going to push for the title. I don't see that happening because they're not gonna beat the likes of. They could beat City 1-on-1, 100% head to head, but in terms of depth, no chance. Arsenal as well. I think Arsenal would have a good chance against this team, actually. Like, it's just about the matchups, in my opinion. But this Liverpool team is very good, I feel.
I had that feeling, but it's sort of changed because I actually think during pre-season Van Dijk's had a few dodgy moments.
Yeah, okay.
I'm hearing. I actually think Konate will be the standout defender for them this season, and something for me feels like they. I feel like Van Dijk might actually just continue his dodgy form. It's completely different to you.
That's feeling I have.
I've got him fifth.
I've got him qualifying Champions League and you don't.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah,
but that is the difference.
It's not a huge difference. It's fourth and fifth.
But there is. I believe there is a big difference between those two positions, bro. In terms of like historically speaking, like those that have missed out on Champions League, there's been definitely a, how do I put it, a missing piece to their squad, in terms of consistency, in terms of just mixing well together. And this Liverpool team last season, like I said, came to their own towards the end of the season, and made a late-ish push. You know, they were kicking down in like 7th, 8th for some of last season, but ended up coming back up. With
that said about Van Dijk, I also do think Salah's decline is here.
Okay.
I think it's that time for him.
Interesting. I don't believe that.
Not yet?
I'm honest.
Not just yet?
Nah, okay. Bro, nah. I think Liverpool are a sleeping giant, and that's scary to say because they didn't really... I'm not saying they're still far off being champions, but still, man, they're a sleeping giant. And I just feel like if Klopp can, get the morale back, they're a hard team to beat.
It is a lot down to Klopp now because he's got a lot of talent, and he's got to get them working now. He's got to get the defensive setup midfield, how he's going to use Trent. He's got to get that correct, and then he's got to hope that there's no injuries to Gakpo, McAllister, Trent, Van Dijk, all them.
Yeah.
So if they can all stay fit, they could very well prove me wrong, but it remains to be seen. Yeah. We'll see.
Let's see. All right. Well, we'll move on from Liverpool.
Yep.
And that place is now. Have we discussed?
We got to discuss United and Chelsea now, because you've got Chelsea in 5th, and I've got them in 3rd.
Yes. Okay. Well, I believe with you. Let me go first, because at the end of the day, I think you're going to be obviously a lot more well informed than me. As much as I try to, look into Chelsea as much as I can. I feel like Chelsea, under Poch will do relatively well, compared to last season, obviously. But I feel like you guys need a season to gel. But as I said before, you guys have a tendency to sort of just bounce back, just in the most unprecedented ways. You'll finish 9th or 10th in the league and win a Champions League, or the season before you'll have an interim manager for 6 months, and then you'll have some random, and then not random, then you'll have a proper coach come in, and then bang, you won another title. Let's see what happens. I think Poch is a great fit for Chelsea, because he can spend money.
Yeah.
Look at Tottenham, look at PSG. He obviously, resources very much, not scarce. Though he already had a team there that was already, invested in a lot. And so he couldn't really make a lot of changes. I think at PSG, you can only make changes to the midfield. The front three, you couldn't really change. The back four, Kimpembe and Silva, when they were around. I'm pretty sure Thiago Silva was playing there.
I think it might have been maybe his last season there when he came in. Yeah,
like you're not taking him out of the squad either. So, I feel like he's gonna have a lot more freedom in terms of the teams he wants to select, the players he wants to bring in, and you see with the movements you guys are making in the market. Though I feel like I said, the teams above that I have above you, have just been they're a season ahead of you guys.
It's fair. I just think it's down to so I've got them above you and Liverpool. One, because I already talked about Liverpool, how I think they're going to drop off. Not drop off, but not kind of go back to the superpower they were. and I think we've made a lot of good signings. I'm also basing this on us getting Caicedo, because I think that will happen. Even if we do have to pay 90 to 100 million, I think it's going to happen.
Fuck, just do it.
I
Literally,
think because
just do it. Yeah.
We need that defensive midfielder, and Brighton know that. They're going to hold out. We're going to buckle, and we're going to pay it, because it's just going to happen. I just see it happening, and that's also why I dropped Brighton to 10th under Crystal Palace as well, because I predict them Caicedo leaving and coming to Chelsea. So I think with all that, I think I do understand the needing a season to gel.
Mm-hmm.
Because the team is very young. I think it's Conor Gallagher is our oldest midfielder.
No way.
At 23.
Well, how old's Enzo?
Enzo's 21, 22?
It's still 22, 21. What? That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
That's actually fucking. That's right. He signed a 7-year contract too.
Yeah, he did.
What,
no, we extended that to 8 as well. There was a year extension option on that contract, and after a couple games, we're like, yeah, we'll do it.
He's a great player, man. Yeah, he's a great player. Well, he will be anyway. He'll be a lot better in the future.
Look, I just think we've made good signings as well. You know, we've got Robert Sanchez as some competition for Kepa. That's a solid goalkeeper. You know, Thiago Silva, new signing Disasi from Monaco.
Yeah, centre back. Yeah,
yeah. Ben Chilwell, and Reece James. If they both fit for a whole season, 100%.
Wow,
we're third.
Your output would be crazy. Your output, it's gonna be fucking ballistic. Yeah,
listen, it's
good point.
It's a lot down to injuries. To be fair, a lot down to injuries. If Reece James is out and Ben Chilwell's out, then we're going to be a completely different team playing with.
That's so true.
Mark Cucurella at left back and Malo. Hopefully, actually, Malo Gusto. And if we don't loan out Ian Matson, Burnley man, then they could be solid backups. I think the backup options we've got now, if they were to get injured, are much better than they were last season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last season it was the backups were Cucurella and Azpilicueta, right? Now it's Malo Gusto and Ian Matson.
And they're
that's
a lot more like for
better.
life.
Yeah.
Whereas Cesar Azpilicueta, man, no way, bro.
Yeah.
There's if he's going on there, he can't provide the same. He can't provide the same sort of feel on the pitches. Those players, nah.
I think we will have a slow start figuring out our best 11. You know, but what I liked from pre-season was that we were scoring more goals. You know, last season our defense was actually one of the best in the league, but the problem was we weren't scoring goals. And what I've seen through this pre-season, especially with Nicholas Jackson up front, and Nkunku, is that we're just scoring more, which is a good thing. So I think we'll have a slow start figuring out our best 11. You know, we've got down back, you know, you've got your Fofana and Badia Shield both injured, but you got your Colwill, Silva. Who else have we got?
The bloke from Monaco as well.
Yeah, bloke from Monaco, Disasi. We're figuring out the best 11 will be first, especially, and then hopefully we get another midfielder and Caicedo in. But we've also made a lot of young signings as well that go under the radar. Like if I name some names, you got Kani Chukwuemeka, Leslie Ugachukwu,
okay,
Cesar Casade, Andre Santos. Who else have we got?
Noni
Madueke, Angelo Gabriel, Diego Moreira. These are all, actually not all, midfield attackers, 18, 19 years old.
From where?
From like, you got Moreira from Benfica.
Yeah.
One kid from there. You got Angelo Gabriel and Andre Santos from Brazil, who was some stars from Brazil.
Yeah, I feel like you've been veering towards like Brazil and those sorts of fiery type players. Yeah. You're looking for your franchise player.
All these. It's just we've stacked this squad with players between 17 and 22. We've stacked it with like just talent between those ages, and I'm not talking like an 11 of talent. I'm talking like a few players in each position of talent.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So it's about finding which one of them stick. So I think this season you're going to see a lot of young players you've never heard of before starting for Chelsea.
That's pretty awesome, man. At the end of the day, like us playing, FIFA career mode back in the day, look, it's either you'd go full strength squad or you'd want a young squad, and this is showing what you'd do on a young squad focused career mode. At the end of the day, you've still got your experience in Sterling and Silva. We've also got let's arguably Kepa as well and Chilwell, though. Now you've got, like you mentioned, your midfield's so young, like Fernandez.
And if Caicedo comes in, he's only like 21.
Bro, like if you guys can set this foundation now, these guys are already pretty. How do I put it? They're pretty set in their places in terms of how do I put it? As a player, like they're gonna come into the team and they'll definitely be competing for a spot in the 11.
Yeah. It's all these players are players you typically think, if we, like a few seasons ago under Abramovich, maybe, if we signed them then, you'd think, oh yeah, these are typical players to go straight out on loan.
Yeah.
Now
you're playing.
Now all these players have been in the starting lineups for preseason.
That's huge, yeah.
So we'll see.
It's not good news for a lot of people.
I think it will take time to gel, but I think towards the end of the season we're gonna be good. I think a certain Ukrainian lad on the wing is going to start cooking this season.
I swear to God, I was about to bring him up, and he's he's a quick player. Obviously everyone knows that. But that one vid I've seen, he's literally like just danced around a player and just taking the absolute piss out of him, and then put the ball back into the box. Like, that's the stuff we want to see from him, taking on players proper, putting in balls that actually do something, that actually create chances instead of just guessing. Because I feel like in terms of his running, back last season, in terms of his positioning, he had no idea where to go. He had fucking no idea where to go. He looked so lost on the pitch. He would go missing for like 40 minutes at a time. Literally, like, wouldn't touch the ball.
Yep.
Like, couldn't find space. Couldn't find the confidence really to take on anyone. Or when he did, he'd mess up and, make schoolboy errors. So I think, like you said last season, you just got to give him a bit of time. I think he's now that there's younger, again, there's that assumption that there's younger players in the team now. Everyone's going to get a chance. He's going to feel a lot more relaxed.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There is still a bit of deadwood we got to get rid of. Lukaku. I actually didn't realize this. I thought the Ziyech to Saudi Arabia was done, but apparently not. It's still on the books at Chelsea. Apparently that deal fell through and they're trying to revive it now. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, he's still.
Didn't we have that?
We had that in the transfer tier list as well. Afterwards, I was like,
oh my God.
I was sitting there one day and I was like, hey, did that transfer actually go through? Because I was looking at Ronaldo and Mane at Al Nassr. I'm like, did Ziyech start? And he's like, wasn't in the starting lineup. So I googled it and he hadn't even transferred there yet.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm like,
well,
oh my God.
No, but that just seemed like one of those things that was just going to happen. You're like, yeah, fair enough, Ziyech. Like, yeah, I don't know how you felt about him last season, but obviously he wasn't as instrumental. He hasn't been as instrumental at all since, compared to when he was at Ajax, in terms of what he was bringing, in the Champions League stages anyway. Literally scoring didn't he score a corner against you? Oh, some freak. It was a corner or a free kick from ages out. He scored against you guys at Stamford Bridge. Anyway, it was a belter, and I think that sort of made Chelsea, interested in him. You guys interested in him, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's just a player that I think is sort of expired at Chelsea, and I think you've brought in players to sort of move him out.
Yeah.
I mean, if Mudrik's starting, come on, let's be honest. Not Mudrik, of Sterling, whatever. He's not getting into that front, forward.
No, it was the season at Ajax, really, that when they did that Champions League run.
Yeah, my coach did it.
You're Donny.
Yeah,
you're bald lad.
Yeah.
That was a season that sort of put him on everyone's radar. We picked him up, and he just never had that impact that we thought he would.
Yeah,
but yeah. So next up, we've got United, who I have in 4th, and you have 3rd.
In 3rd, yes.
Yep. So it was still in Champions League position for me. I think you'll do well. I think it'll take you, like you said with Chelsea, time to gel. you got Mason Mount fit in that midfield, and then you've got, I think, your lad up front, Hoyland. I have my doubts. Let's just say that. Well, what do you think about him?
What I've seen of him so far, in terms of what he has to bring to United, is that he's a striker that can, how do I put it? He's physically strong. He's not. He seems like a small bloke, but he's not. He's deceptively strong. He's quick. He knows how to pass into. He knows how to play the space. He knows how to get in behind. He's got techers too, but he's still young. Like, he's not. He scored 13, 14 goals last season, maybe less in Serie A, but what the goals he did score and the contributions he did make, you can see the potential in him. I'm pretty excited, but like I mentioned earlier, there's definitely room for another striker to come in, though he will be starting, obviously, and thank God we'll have somebody with some potential starting, because it's a big step up from about bloody Weghorst and having to rely on wingers to be strikers. I much prefer Rashford. I really liked the role Rashford played last season, because obviously it was his best season he's played. Where he was sort of forced to do it though, because he would play out wide, and then Martial, if he was playing, would come off, and then he'll drift in the middle, and then we'll put on Anthony or Sancho or whoever, or when Sancho was playing as well. So yeah, at least we've got somebody who's gonna. If we don't sign another striker, he can play every week. He's young, he's eager, and he's a United boy, like he's allegedly anyway, a United supporter. So I think that he's a good acquisition for us. It's just not good for the future. It's just, if we want to be contending the way we want to be contending, and how Ten Hag was saying, there's eras come to an end. Like, that was his first, basically one of the first things he had to say when he had his sit down first interview as a United manager. In that going in, if he wants to achieve that, then he's going along the right track. But we still, if we want to be contending properly this season in particular, if they want to prove me wrong and push for a top 2 finish, we're gonna need another striker, I think. Yeah. I would rather Rashford being out wide. Rashford starting to finally use his fucking left foot. Sorry for the language. But finally, I've been saying it for so long, bro. His one-dimensional running was just driving me ballistic, bro, because he was so readable. But Ten Hag has made sure that if you can't cut in on the inside, you go on the outside and you whip it with your left. I don't give a fuck how it goes in. You just keep doing it, and it'll pay off, because, like I said, you've got all the midfielders pushing out. You got Mount on his side now. That's able, not on his side, sorry, but in the midfield, that's able to pick up those crosses. Bruno, who advances very high up the pitch, that can pick up those crosses. And also, the other winger that can potentially pick it up at the edge of the box. So it's like Rashford used to think I can't go on my left foot because there'll be nothing on afterwards. At the end of the day, you've got some of the best players in the world, playing alongside of you. And I think he may have, I'm not saying he underestimated them in any sense, but I think he just didn't have a lot of confidence in his left, and just didn't want to waste time. But he just never pulled the trigger on that side,
We've always said this. He's a very confidence-based player. He's it's something I recently heard from De Bruyne on, why he's been so successful with everything, is that he said he's not afraid to make the mistakes. He said he'll try something, he'll make the mistake, and then what a lot of players will do is they won't try that thing again. Like Rashford might try a shot on the left, butcher it, and then he'll stop trying. He'll be like, no, I don't want to try that. Whereas De Bruyne will try something, sky it, and then be like, oh, but then the next go he has it, he'll try the exact same thing again. He's got no fear to make the mistakes. He'll make a mistake 3-4 times, but he'll just keep doing it, and then it'll come off. I
think it's I agree. That's definitely the difference between those types of players. But I think Rashford's been subject to a lot of criticism in the past. With the penalty miss in the Euro finals against Italy. And yeah, same as Sancho, man. Same.
Yeah.
They're both
Yeah.
very much, like you said, confidence players, and yeah, these things have definitely impacted their their growth. And I'm not gonna say it's stunted it. Potentially Sancho. Potentially Sancho.
They need to take a page out of Saka's book on
Yeah,
missing
bro.
penalties and just coming back.
He is just that's Saka, man. He's just all credits to him. Like he's a great player. Look, I still would rather, if I had the choice between the two, I'd go Rashford on that side of the pitch anyway. Even on both sides, okay. I don't give a shit. Come at me.
Big words. All right. Yep. Continue.
Come at me. But yeah, I think finally these boys, as long as they just willing enough to just, that's what Ten Hag is all about. Is like just go out there, play our brand of football. And yeah, if you're on your weaker side, don't be afraid. And just try and just keep the ball in play at least, So because our football sometimes isn't very clean. Like we relied a bit on the ball, being a bit messy in the box sometimes in order for us to pick up an opportunity. Just by getting it in, like I said. But yeah, let's see if Anthony wants to take a page out of Rashford's book and go on his weaker side.
Try the
Sorry,
weaker
I don't want
foot.
to swear again, but that guy really frustrates me. That's all I'm going to say about Anthony, bro. I've got choice words for him. But he needs to... That's another player that I think, that you put in the same bracket as Sancho, not Rashford. Let's take Rashford out of that. Where they really need to step up this season. Yeah. They really do. I don't care how well Sancho, what glimpses he showed... but in terms of the composure he showed with this goal against Liverpool, where Liverpool would be shambolic in that game, defensively, but I think like composure, lads. That's what's needed.
Well, the really for me, why I didn't have them higher is because it remains to be seen what this Højlund Denmark lad can do, and listen, he might be good. I think it's a big price tag and a lot of pressure to be United's number 9.
72
every game, like with Champions League as well. He's going to be playing all these competitions, Prem, Champions League. I'd assume he'd get a rest in the cup games at least.
No, I don't think. Look, I know what you're saying. I feel like I think we'll be rotating him a bit more. I think
should be
like I mentioned about Rashford. Last season, drifting into that mid. Rashford still will be playing striker at some points in this season. Yeah. Obviously, depending on how Højlund starts as well. Yeah. I'm really hoping that he hits the ground running. Yeah. If not, I think Højlund will be starting. But not. I don't believe not in the first game week, or maybe not even in the second. Like I said, he's still young. He's still a lot of potential. But we'll see where he places in that squad.
Yeah. I also wonder how big of an impact Mason Mount will have on your squad, on the field. Oh. Like I do, there's a little bit of bias here because I'm still salty,
as you should be.
But I question how he's a great player. Obviously, I love him, used to, but I just question how much of an impact he'll have. You know what I mean? Like we've already talked about him a lot. I think he'll improve the side, but I wonder how much, and can he do it consistently every single game? It remains to be seen for me. But really, with 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Chelsea, United, Liverpool, I could have switched them around anyway. To be honest with you, the main thing it boiled down to me putting Chelsea as the highest of the 3 was not having the extra games to deal with. Yeah. And hopefully, with not having the extra games to deal with, we won't have as many injuries. Touch wood. And it just seems like a typical Chelsea thing to do, doesn't it? Like, the last time we didn't have Europe, we won the league. That's like I said. Right? We're not going to win the league, but we just seem to just turn it around. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. There is that potential there. Yeah. That's like, at the end of the day, look, we're not we're not gods at this game. We're guessing just like you guys. But I just want to just quickly about United and talking about Højlund and that up front. Sort of not going to say hole, but still is a bit of a hole there. I think it definitely isn't filled up all the way. I feel like we could potentially have the chance. Look, I know that Kane has sort of gone out the window in terms of us signing him potentially now with Hoyland coming in. Like I said, the hype's gone away from him. We seem pretty comfortable with relying on Hoyland now and giving him time. But I think Kane would be a Van Persie-like acquisition. Like, struggled to win trophies before he came to United and literally comes in and wins it. Like, he has that ability, 100%. We had a 30-goal striker in our team in terms of in the Premier League. That was our problem. We didn't have that last season. We still managed to finish third. Yeah. And we did not have it. We without fucking Weghorst as our headline striker.
Yeah. If you managed to bag Kane, I'd put you in a title race easy.
I'm telling you now, I would put us... I don't want to say it.
Don't say it.
I don't want to say it.
Don't say
it. I really don't want to say it, but I do.
Just say it. I'd put...
But I'm telling you, we would be putting pressure on Arsenal. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. 100%. At the way we are now, we're not. We're not. Like I said, these two players that we will talk about very shortly, they're again, a country mile ahead.
Yeah. Well,
but Kane is that country mile. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think add a 30-goal striker to your attack, and yeah, you're up there, 100%.
Rashford next to him, see you later. Sancho, all right, see you later, bro.
Yeah,
legit.
Yeah,
Bruno behind catcher. Poor brother. Man, it'll change the whole team. It'll genuinely change the whole team. Like that whole core would be fucking lightning.
I've always questioned why you haven't gone harder for him, but I'm sure if it was feasible at all, you would have by now.
Levy would have said you pay 120 or you're not getting it.
Yeah, that's what they told City, didn't they?
Yeah, so it was the same to us. It would have been the same to us. It's because, at the end of the day, you don't want to be selling your star player to your rivals in that league.
Yeah, Mason Mount.
Like that's not look, but Mason Mount he's not gonna be the definitive reason as to why we finished on top of you.
Kane's much different. Yeah. That's Van Persie.
But Kane is the best of Van Persie and Rooney, bro. That guy. I'm not saying there's no way I'm comparing any of those three players there. I just feel like Kane is an unreal passer, and I think that has definitely flown under the radar a lot in his career. I don't know why, but he's not really renowned for that. He's more renowned for his link-up play with Son and, their little partnership they have, but he's been doing that with everyone, I feel. He's been helping out in terms of goal contributions, and also being able to score, drop deep as a centre forward, essentially, and the Kane would fit in with our squad so well.
Yeah.
So... Yeah.
All right, is it time to move on to the top two?
Yeah, let's go.
Disagreement here.
Here we go.
Arsenal's going to win the league.
City's going to win the league. Come on, man.
Listen, I want to be honest.
It's coming up.
I'm the only one with balls out of us two here.
Oh my god! Wow. Okay.
No, I'm just joking.
But
look. Nah, my head would say, look, City fucking 4-peat and keep winning, but I question the mentality to win a treble and then stay at that level. And I know other teams have, challenged City before and then fallen back off. Liverpool was up there with them for a bit. They won one and then they just, dropped back down again. I think you guys finished second a couple times, put a little bit of pressure on them. And then, drop back off again. Now you're starting to come back again. But I think this Arsenal pressure is going to keep going up.
Interesting. Well,
I think Arteta is a great manager. And I think the signings they've made are pushing them in that direction.
And I just feel like, so with the acquisition of Rice, I think Odegaard is going to have another, he's going to have a standout season, but he's going to be, I think it's going to stretch over a longer period of time. I think their defense is sound now. And their midfield is pretty decent too. Havertz can play either in the mid or up forward as well. Yeah. So they've got a lot of versatile players. Eddie Nketiah is just probably the one player in which I honestly thought last season I thought it'd be a bit better. But he just couldn't really. I don't know. I don't think he's the player we thought he was.
For me, Nketiah actually outperformed what I expected last season.
Okay.
I thought it was like, yeah, I thought, bro, you're not at a level to be starting for a team pushing for top spot.
Maybe it's that number 14 that's making
Maybe
me a bit
little
harsh
bit.
against him. Why would you take it?
I don't know, man.
Why would you take the 14? You're not even a starting striker, bro.
No.
Like, I just don't understand it. I really don't. I think as soon as Jesus becomes fit, he'll slot right in there. Then, they'll be great. With Jesus, they did not lose much, man.
No.
At all.
I think I predict them to keep it up. I think Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka will keep going as they have been. And I think they've just improved that midfield immensely.
I completely agree.
And the defense.
I discounted Martinelli last season. I must be honest. I feel like he wasn't doing great for like a small period of time, and I went all over him, and then he ended up proving me wrong again. So I think they've got a surplus.
I think it was
depth.
the Trossard signing. The Trossard signing kind of gave him a bit of competition and kicked his gears back up.
That's why Trossard came in.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, that's why Trossard came in, because they're like, shit. Like Martinelli's still young. He's obviously going to be subject to performing up and down. Whereas Trossard is a seasoned player, like done pretty well at Brighton. And he knows he knows who he is as a footballer, whereas Martinelli still doesn't know exactly what potential he can feel. He's just getting better and better. I think having a young soul like that on your squad is great. It's great for energy, but you need someone also with a level head. I think Trossard wasn't too out of his depth going to Arsenal. I think he proved himself at Brighton. So I think, like you said, Martinelli definitely woke up and realised that, shit, I better wake up, become, the player I need to become, set strides towards that. And in terms of, his contribution and realising he has to be more consistent. He has been pretty consistent, but like I said, like with a few of these players on this team, they're consistent, but then there's these periods in which they're not so much, and unfortunately, well, for them, it sort of undermines their efforts last season, and they dropped off.
Yep. Well, I look at their signings and I look at their departures as well, and the matter of the fact is there hasn't been many.
Yeah,
they lost Xhaka. And they've just added. That's pretty much it. That's all I can think of, departures wise. Like
Party. What's going on with him?
I think Party's staying now.
I wanna have a look. I wanna have a look at.
Have a look, but in terms of departures that will actually genuinely affect how the first team plays and the first team squad, the only one I can think of is Xhaka, because I'm pretty sure Party's staying now, and they've added Declan Rice. Unreal.
Yeah.
Added Havertz, who can play midfield and attack.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he starts or not, we'll see. And then Timber down back. And then also
Timber.
Also some competition for Ramsdale. Is it David Raya?
Raya? Something like that.
No, I'm thinking it's Raya. Is his first name David? I'm going to say it's David. Good question.
Stand by while we
Yeah, David Raya. Yes, I knew. I think that's not 100% confirmed yet, but I think it might.
Yeah, it's
not. It might have got the here we go. Also, just remembered, City did make the Josko Gvardiol.
Oh my god!
Unreal.
Bro.
After
we're in trouble, bro.
After Fabrizio Romano gave the here we go like 3-4 weeks ago, and then the Leipzig owner or someone came out and said no, the rumors are false, and then like yesterday or the day before official.
Oops.
And then Fab's like, they're like, who are you gonna listen to, bro? Like,
bro, that guy is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Love Romano. He's the best. Bro, he's like the only person I can trust these days.
Honestly.
Look, at the end of the day, I think Arsenal, you're right. I think they've had the right inclusions now to the squad. They've gotten rid of Granit Xhaka, and like I told you in the tier list, I don't think he was exactly the player we all thought he was.
No, he was overperforming big time.
Yeah, big time. Party seems to still be in the squad. And it's just, by the way, Saka is on on this that I'm on, he's reported as sick. He's got illness back mid-August, so yeah, I think we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Nicholas Pepe is still around. Did you guys forget about him?
He was their record signing for a long time.
Guess what his market value is now in Aussie dollars?
10 mil?
Fuck, that's a bit low. Come on, man. He's not a victory player. Relax. He's a 28 million. He was bought for 75, wasn't he?
I want to say 80.
Oh, 80?
Yeah.
Maybe 80. Yeah. That was their first big signing for a long time as well.
Yeah, it was.
Arsenal's, and yeah.
They were so reluctant to spend money, and then they spent it on him. It absolutely flopped. And then they became reluctant to spend money again until this window.
Can you, I don't know, look, I haven't seen much about him, so I don't know.
He's been going on loan here, there, and everywhere.
He was at Nice, and I think...
Pretty sure that's where they got him from. Oh, was it Lille, maybe?
Look, I think if I was him, man, I'd be happy to just kick it in that squad, bro. Like,
yeah, honestly.
Come on, man. Like, at the end of the day, if
pick up a winner's medal this season,
potentially fight for your spot again. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, look, I haven't seen much of him playing recently. He might just be dog shit now, so it may not be able to at all even break through. But I mean, you've got a squad that is literally like thriving to be the best in the world. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? It's just, true. It's just like, I get it. He may feel a little excluded, at the end of the day. Like, he obviously doesn't have the same standards as the rest of these boys in this team.
He's fighting for a spot with Saka. Like, come on.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
No, it's not. So, at the end of the day, I think Arsenal, sure. I feel like
it could have gone
very strong.
It could have gone either way for me.
They're going to be very strong.
I'll just send it.
But, yeah, look, I don't blame you. Look,
it could end up that way.
But that's only if Jesus stays fit.
True.
If Jesus doesn't stay fit, I don't see this team winning the league. I just don't.
Well, I just feel the Declan Rice one, because they haven't really lost anyone other than Xhaka, like I said, and the Declan Rice signing just sort of bumps them up to another level.
Yeah,
for me.
Yeah.
And how, depending on how they use Havertz, that could add another element as well. Timber down back will fight for either the centre back spot or the right back spot. You forget they've still got Ben White, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko. If he stays fit, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one, big time.
Because he's always seems to be in the ambulance.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, these two spots could have switched around so easily for me, because I think we haven't even talked about City. And Haaland scoring beating his record from last season, potentially.
Probably could.
Grealish doubling his assists, freaking De Bruyne, Rodri, like.
I think.
Oh, man.
One more thing before we go into that fucking ordeal, is Havertz and his role in that Arsenal squad. You mentioned him briefly, and when you're speaking about Zinchenko, it got me thinking, like, what exactly, if Havertz is going to be starting in the midfield with Zinchenko behind him, Zinchenko, like we're talking about with Arnold, and what his role is going to be, and we'll talk about like with Stones. I know Stones is centre back.
Basically midfield.
I feel like Zinchenko, he loves going in the channels, and that's going to make Havertz go further in, and he's going to be playing in front of Rice and behind the striker. So Havertz, we don't know what role he's going to have. In that regard, I think he's going to be a player in which is going to be unpredictable in terms of where he's going to lean towards going, like whether he's going to want to go out wide and allow for the other boys to go in the middle, or is he's going to go cut into those middle channels and then run up with the rest of them. Like, Arsenal can play a very fast sort of play, and I like this team. When I look at it, you look at the back four and the CDM, and you're like, they will stay, but you got the roles of like Odegaard, Havertz, Saka, and Kedia, Martinelli in the front five, basically. That's what they'll be, and then you just have Rice just kicking it behind, and then if Rice decides he wants to go up, then Zinchenko at least is going to be able to cover him. So this team, Arsenal, a lot of dimensions to them, man, and that's what makes them so good as a team. That's what makes them unbelievable. And that's why, in terms of matchups, that's why I said Arsenal can beat a side like Liverpool as strong as they are, because you see Liverpool and you're like, yeah, you can see sort of where they're going with this Arsenal team. They're very unpredictable. They're very quick with their feet. They're very quick with their passing. They're very quick themselves, physically.
Yeah.
So, whether or not teams are going to be able to handle their final third pressure, that's going to be ultimately whether the difference between Arsenal and their opponents beating them or not.
Yeah. Well, their competition is City, and they play a lot like City. And it'll be interesting to see in the game tonight in the Community Shield if they do deploy those City-esque tactics, like how Zinchenko moves into the midfield, then you've got basically a 5 in attack, which is how City play. Can they do that against City though? Because that's more of a tactic for when you have all of the possession. But will they have the possession against City will be the interesting part. So I think that's maybe they'll end up not starting Havertz and having Partey and Rice together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's probably more how they're gonna have to go and be a bit more slightly defensive against City to counteract that. It's always gonna be interesting seeing how they play each other.
Look, Lokonga and El Neni is just kicking it there too. Maybe they'll just throw them in potentially. El Neni weirdly comes up randomly for Arsenal, like in terms of his appearances. So, I mean, Partey, I don't know what's going on with him in the postseason from last season. There was obviously rumours of him leaving. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they line up against City, and you'll definitely see then whether or not Partey's going to be a part of that squad.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about City, but honestly, I'm just going to sit here being annoyed at how good they are.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous, but
it's sad.
I think
very sad.
Look, I put Arsenal ahead of them because I see them heading in that direction. Obviously, they don't have the funds that City have, but I see Arteta sort of just creating this squad at Arsenal that's just so similar to how City play and almost just as good. And if they stay fit is the other thing.
Arsenal will get closer to City this season. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. But obviously they were on top last season because City had a rocky start. But City could just come out firing this
slow
season.
Starts, though. They tend to.
Yeah.
But they're lucky they've got Burnley first week.
Yeah.
They're very lucky, City. Very lucky. Because
5-0 or some shit.
We'll see.
Alrighty. Should we
just quickly, quickly. In saying that Arsenal would get closer, I feel like you said, in terms of the differences in capital and, in terms of transfers and the ability of City to just bring in whoever they want versus Arsenal, I think that's why once they get closer, and they will get very close, Arsenal, I think Arteta, will be up there in terms of manager of the season for sure.
Yeah. So honestly, I just put City second because I question the mentality to keep it going after that three-peat. It's sort of like, it's like Messi after he wins a World Cup. Like, what's the motivation to keep going now? You've won everything.
I get what you mean, but like I was saying earlier about Haaland, it's like, they've won everything, but he's still eager to keep going, man. He's still eager to keep going as the rest of that squad is. I mean, you've got everyone in that squad that is obviously a proper decorated player now, and I don't think they'll drop their standards just because they've won literally everything that was possible, really. But in saying that, there could be a bit of a lull this season, and I think the poor side of their season could be worse than last season's. Like at the start of the season, like I'm not saying they're poor, I'm just saying like that was the worst they could get. And like they usually do. They usually drop down to the same like sort of point where they draw against teams they shouldn't be drawing against. They don't really lose. It's just about the dropping points. They don't capitalize on opportunities at the start of the season.
That's what it comes down to in the top two top two race. It's you drop points in draws, not losses.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's a bit harder to sort of pinpoint where City go wrong, because the day draw is a great result for some teams. But when you're in the top two, exactly right. You can't be drawing. You can't be, because at the end of the day, they're the only people that can really draw. And the Arsenal fans are gonna I don't know, love me or hate me for bringing this up, but the Invincible season, you know, they had like 14 draws, I think, that season.
Yeah.
But they didn't lose any. So, yeah, at least they were able to salvage 14 points instead of not any, you know? So, yeah, I feel like City, let's see how they go. Yeah, it's hard to sort of follow what they've done last season. But I think they're going to drop off in the Champions League before anything else. I don't think they'll. I don't know if they'll follow. I don't think they'll get a double in the Champions League. Like, if I'm honest, I think their focus will be the league. I think Pep loves winning the Premier League anyway, as you can probably tell by now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like their energy will, if that's the case, and they feel like there's a lull, they'll probably focus their energy more towards the Premier League.
Yeah. Maybe there's a little bit of hope in my prediction because I don't want that. I just don't want them to dominate for too long. It gets a bit boring.
Who knows? Arsenal can have a really, really strong start, win the first 10 games, let's say, knock on wood for their sake. And City could draw 3 games, and after that, 2, 4, 6. That's 6 points. That's a 6-point difference already in the first 10, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that, you know, their fixtures is going to support that happening. I'm not too sure, but I'm just saying, like I said, City start slow. It's just up to Arsenal to just get the pace going straight away.
Exactly right.